What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some bad news. Unfortunate news. Ryan Garcia, undefeated, rising, lightweight, Mexican superstar, title contender, has informed us that he will be facing, and if he does face, undefeated two-division world champion who currently simultaneously holds the WBA at 130 and 135, undefeated superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis. He states that if he does face Gervonta Tank Davis, it will not be until September. So there will be an interim fight in between those two fights. Now, this can possibly turn into good news, but I don't believe it will go in this direction. But another option is he go ahead and fight for his mandatory position that he just beat Olympic gold medalist, British superstar, lightweight title contender Luke Campbell. He just beat Luke Campbell for the WBC mandatory position to fight undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin the Dream Haney. So with that said, maybe we should get Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia did state in his post-fight press conference interview, he stated that if he cannot get Gervonta Tank Davis next, that he will face Devin Haney. Well, Devin Haney is out there. And this is an easier fight actually to make, as Devin Haney fights on the same network as Ryan Garcia, and that is DAZN. They both fight on DAZN. So it's very easy for this fight to be made between Ryan Garcia and Devin the Dream Haney. With that said, I don't believe that Ryan Garcia will risk losing that big fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, because Gervonta Tank Davis represents a bigger payday currently right now, because Gervonta Tank Davis has already headlined his own pay-per-view card. He's selling out arenas. He's just a bigger star right now than, I have to be honest, than all of the other lightweight rising contenders. But when you look at it from the standpoint that he should be a bigger star and more established, because he's older than these guys. He's 26 years old. The next oldest guy is Teofimo Lopez, unified WBA, WBO, IBF, Ring Magazine, lightweight world champion, superstar boxer. He's 23 years old. Other than that, Ryan Garcia just turned 22. Devin Haney just turned 22. Shakur Stevenson just turned 23. So they're all very, very young. So Gervonta Tank Davis is 26. He's been in the game longer than they have, okay? So when you look at it from that standpoint, he should be a bigger star. Is Ryan Garcia, an Olympic gold medalist, former 5-division world champion, Hall of Famer, turned promoter, and founder of Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar the Golden Boy De La Hoya, is he willing to put Ryan Garcia in the ring with a talent like Devin Haney and risk upsetting the apple cart? Because Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, according to reports, have fought 6 times in the amateurs, and they split 3-3, with Devin Haney winning the last 2 fights. So is Oscar De La Hoya willing to risk his investment in Ryan Garcia, putting him in the ring with Devin Haney, and run the risk of him losing to Devin Haney? And then Devin Haney's going to get that big fight with Gervonta Tank Davis? Because you have to look at it from this standpoint. We are only in January, the beginning of January, right? The first week in January. They're not looking to fight till September. So you have to look. You're talking about January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That is 9 months. 9 months. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 9 months. Ryan Garcia will be inactive until he fights Gervonta Tank Davis. And now that would definitely have to be in the beginning of September, because we know the target date is going to be the second week in September, which is Mexican Independence Day. That's a huge week, a huge weekend in the sport of boxing. But the problem is the target date originally would have been the end of April, maybe May, Cinco de Mayo weekend. But 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer who is currently unified WBC, WBA super middleweight world champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez, is going to fight Billy Joe Saunders Cinco de Mayo weekend in a unification bout for Billy Joe Saunders' undefeated WBO record. Billy Joe Saunders is a 2-division world champion. He's the WBO super middleweight world champion, and this is a unification bout. So for Canelo Alvarez, this is a step in the direction of him wanting to be undisputed at super middleweight. He wants to be the first Mexican undisputed super middleweight world champion. And then he's looking to fight again September, Mexican Independence Day weekend, against undefeated IBF super middleweight world champion superstar boxer Caleb Plant, if all goes according to plan. Now, obviously, Caleb Plant has a fight coming up, and Caleb Plant has to win that fight. Billy Joe Saunders is absolutely going to stay inactive until Canelo Alvarez fight presents itself. Canelo Alvarez is also going to step in the ring February 20th against Avni Yildirim. That's February 20th. Avni Yildirim is a mandatory challenger for the WBC. I don't know why, but he is. And so with that said, Canelo Alvarez is going to be highly favored to win that fight. This is a longtime sparring partner of Canelo Alvarez, Avni Yildirim. And so, Caleb Plant has a fight coming up January 30th against Caleb Truitt. So, he'll fight more than likely. I'm favoring him to win this fight. This is a tough fight, but I'm expecting Caleb Plant to win the fight against Caleb Truitt. And he wins this fight. He's going to stay inactive more than likely until September himself, right? So he'll be inactive for at least 8 months. Now, ideally, and maybe Caleb Plant will have a light touch fight, nothing too serious. He's not going to take on undefeated 2-time super middleweight world champion David Benavidez, because he run the risk of losing an opportunity at Canelo Alvarez. So with that said, the plan is pretty much set for Canelo Alvarez. He's going to beat Billy Joe Saunders, in my opinion. Now, if he loses to Billy Joe Saunders, guess what? That date is still not going to be available, because he's going to have an immediate rematch with Billy Joe Saunders in September on that date. So these dates are not available. So that means they will have to fight the first week in September or late in September, right? So we're talking about both guys being inactive for a very, very long time. Gervonta Tank Davis being more inactive than Ryan Garcia, because he fought October 24th when he beat 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Leo Santa Cruz. So he has been inactive for quite some time. And now imagine if Ryan Garcia would have been out the ring by that time, 9 months. Gervonta Tank Davis is going on 11 months out the ring by that time. Okay, so he's nearly going on a year out the ring since he last fought. And so with that said, that is quite a stretch of a period of time for both of these young fighters to just stay inactive, to wait on fighting each other. Gervonta Tank Davis fought Leo Santa Cruz in Halloween. Okay, so I said October 24th. That was the original date. Then it was moved back to October 31st so that they could have fans in attendance. Originally, it was scheduled to take place in Connecticut with no fans in attendance. Then they moved it to San Antonio, Texas, so fans can participate and attend. So we're still talking now. It's closer to November, obviously. So, but he still would have been out the ring for 10 months by that time. That's a long period of time. Are they both going to sit around and stay idle? I think not. And I think the best option for Ryan Garcia is not to take a high-risk fight like Devin Haney, but you'll more than likely see Ryan Garcia against Jorge Linares. Now, that's still a huge risk for Ryan Garcia, because Jorge Linares is very skilled. He's very experienced. He's very athletic. And he's been in these types of situations. Ryan Garcia is very stiff. He has very fast hands. He's going to be the bigger guy. He's definitely the younger guy. But with that said, Jorge Linares has a lot of experience. He beat Luke Campbell as well as Ryan Garcia did. So Jorge Linares is no stranger to the big stage. Jorge Linares is now 35 years of age. He stands at 5'8" with a 69-inch arm reach. So his arms are not much shorter than Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia has a 71-inch arm reach, and he stands at 5'10". So he's bigger than Jorge Linares, but he's not much bigger. But he has the young factor, right? And he's stronger, okay? 35 to 22. He's 13 years younger than Jorge Linares. He has less wear and tear. Jorge Linares 47-5, 29 by way of knockout. He himself was knocked out 5 times. So, that's a younger fighter, in Ryan Garcia, and he's going to be favored to win that fight. But when it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis, what direction does he go in? The fans are not going to approve of Gervonta Tank Davis versus Abner Mares. They're just not going to approve of that. And for a long period of time, he cannot stay this inactive. So what direction is he going to go in? The fans are going to call for Gary Russell Jr. fight, Devin the Dream Haney fight, Teofimo Lopez fight, Ryan Garcia fight, which is off the table, obviously. And, these are the fights that people are going to want to see Gervonta Tank Davis in. You have O'Shaquie Foster. That's a huge fight. He could take on O'Shaquie Foster. O'Shaquie Foster, is a very skilled guy. He's been calling out Gervonta Tank Davis. He's 18-2, 11 by way of knockout, but he just won the WBC Silver Super title against Miguel Roman in impressive fashion. So that would be a big fight for Gervonta Tank Davis. And he's looking to make it happen. We also have Christopher Colbert. That's another big fight for Gervonta Tank Davis. He can make that fight happen. But again, these are all high-risk fights. Christopher Colbert, 15-0, 6 by way of knockout. And he is the WBA interim champion. Gervonta Tank Davis is the WBA regular champion. So it makes sense, right? Christopher Colbert is 24 years old, 5'8", 71-inch arm reach. He has a very long arm reach. He's very athletic, very explosive. And he knocked out his Jaime Arboleda in impressive fashion in his last fight, December 12th. So he has options. But again, you face a Christopher Colbert, O'Shaquie Foster, slick fighters with defense and power. You run the risk of being upset when you have those types of fights. And you definitely run the risk of taking on Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Gary Russell Jr., or Teofimo Lopez. So it's interesting to see what direction they're going to take Gervonta Tank Davis in, because it's going to be abundantly clear if he takes on Abner Mares that they're just trying to buy time until he gets the Ryan Garcia fight. And the fans are not going to be happy about that, because Gervonta Tank Davis is already 26 years of age, and you need to see him in there with the big fights. And there's no reason for him to have tune-up level type fights. And no disrespect to Abner Mares, but there's no reason for him to have tune-up type fights and wait for Ryan Garcia, who's never fought for a world title and has never been, obviously, a world champion. So what is he waiting for he's a pay-per-view star? He needs to fight the big fights. And these are the fights that the fans are going to call for. Gary Russell Jr. at 130. Perfect. Shakur Stevenson. Now, Shakur Stevenson, obviously, he has his own direction. He's looking to fight the winner of Jamel Herring and Carl Frampton. And then he's looking to fight the winner of Miguel Burchett and Oscar Valdez. So he has his sights already set on that WBO route and that unification for the WBC route. So that's the route Shakur Stevenson is looking for. Gary Russell Jr. he's void of opponent. Christopher Colbert is the WBA interim champion, so that only makes sense for him and Gervonta Tank Davis to fight, and that's a huge fight because they're both stars. So O'Shaquie Foster, he just became an interim silver 130-pound champion, so that makes all the sense in the world. But again, these are high-risk fights, but these are the fights that Gervonta Tank Davis, at this point in this period in time, he's going to have to accept en route to a Ryan Garcia fight. So let's see how this all plays out. But I'm expecting Gervonta Tank Davis against Abner Mares, possibly, and Ryan Garcia versus Jorge Linares. But let's see if I'm wrong. Hopefully I am. Let's see how this all plays out and unfolds. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.